Welcome to Content Jefe. I'm Veronica and I am the host of this show. Content Jefe means content boss in English. However, this doesn't mean that only content jefes are welcome here to my podcast. Those who have it all perfect, who are making millions of dollars with their content, or who have it all figured out. Here we're our bosses because we pick ourselves up. We are learning every day. We are learning about ourselves. We're learning about how we can make better content for our audiences, and we show up for our audiences no matter what. If you are one of those, you are welcome here. We're going to be learning a lot of stuff together. This is episode one of a series of episodes about content creators. If you are watching this on YouTube or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, take a minute to subscribe to the podcast or to follow the podcast. And I will bring myself to you at zero cost when I can be charging you thousands of dollars. I think the least that you could do is to subscribe to the show and to show me some love that way. Yeah. Okay, well, let's get to the episode. Hot Sounds Cool presents Content Jefe, the podcast that helps online business owners make better content and more money. Let's Jefe up. So the first part of my journey from being a law school graduate all the way to becoming a content creator, how I started making content, I'm going to call that from feeling like a failure all the way to feeling really, really stupid, but ignited. Why was I feeling like a failure? Well, I went to law school because I had a goal of becoming a prosecutor. And when I was a law school student, I had the opportunity to work as a law clerk for a criminal judge. And also, I had the opportunity to work at the district attorney's office. And I loved it. However, when I was there, I saw a lot of the prosecutors not being very happy. I saw a lot of them were probably borderline alcoholics and they didn't have a healthy lifestyle. And my whole life, I've been about having a healthy lifestyle and not having a stressful life, just trying to have a calm life, working out, healthy food, caring for me and my children. So I didn't like what I saw. However, I kept pursuing that. And then when I graduated from law school, I took the bar exam and I didn't pass the first time. Then I took it a second time and I didn't pass. I was very close to a passing grade, but I didn't pass. So I cried like for an entire week. I just couldn't believe it. I felt really stupid. It felt like career suicide for me. But I decided to pick myself up and to keep trying and keep starting and retake the exam. I don't know how many times you can take the freaking bar exam is torture. And then the reason why I didn't pass it was because, well, first, I don't know how to type very fast. I got my first computer when I was 25 years old. And that's another story that, when I moved here a long time ago, that was when I got my first computer. I'm from Colombia originally. So anyway, because I didn't pass the bar exam, then I was in career limbo. And when you are in career limbo as an attorney, you get some odd jobs. So somehow I ended up working for a major credit card company in the fraud department, which you would think, oh, how fancy. So, but it's not as glamorous as you think. I was in this really, really old building, probably a building that should have been closed down because of asbestos. And I was working in a cubicle. I was not close to a window. I didn't get to see the sun. I would go there very early and leave late at night when it was already dark. So it was misery. So although all of this was happening, I just kept telling myself, it's okay. You will pass the bar exam a second time. But at that point, I wasn't so sure that that's what I wanted to pursue. As you can imagine, I was feeling like a total failure. In career limbo, not a lot to look forward to. I was approaching my 40s, so I was in not a good place. Let's just put it that way. But in the meantime, my husband, Studio Steve, or Steven, decided that he wanted to start a business, that he wanted to teach people about audio production because he's an audio engineer and he was into podcasting. He had produced a couple of podcasts at that point, and he asked me if I wanted to join him into building this company. So I said, no, you're crazy. But then the more I would come home and seem so pumped and so happy and so invested in his little business, then I decided to, like, why not? It can be worse than what is happening to me right now. I'm in a job that I hate, very unfulfilled, feeling embarrassed, seeing my classmates on social media in court and accomplishing like amazing things while I was there in that dingy, ugly cubicle. So I said yes. And we started the company. And I was very clear at the beginning that I was not going to be recording any type of content whatsoever, that I was not going to be recording any podcast, or I wasn't going to be making videos. I've never been that type of person that feels comfortable with getting a lot of attention, with being in front of the camera. I used to be like that when I was a kid. I don't know what changed. But along the way, he convinced me, and I started making videos and I started recording myself, and it was painful. It was embarrassing. And we started with animated characters, so we didn't have to show our faces. I was mortified, like, like what my peers, my colleagues, my classmates are going to think of me. Which, back then, if I remember, I didn't even make one friend in law school, maybe just one or two friends. But I don't think they care. They were too consumed in their own careers that I don't think they, that's the thing. That's the fallacy. That's the misconception that you have, or the wrong perception of things, is that people are thinking about you. And no, they are thinking about themselves. And if they think about you, so they feel better about themselves. And then they move on. But long story short, that struggle, that sheer panic, that like I want to die before I do this thing again, just created this feeling in me that I was being tested, that I was being challenged again. It was kind of like first year of law school again. Unknown territory. I don't know what I'm doing, but it feels challenging. It feels like I'm going against the grain. And I like that. I like that challenge. So even though I was feeling very stupid for posting videos on YouTube, and I was concerned of what I was doing to my career and my future, I was feeling alive again. So maybe you're not in career suicide. Maybe you're very happy with what you're doing right now. Maybe you're very happy with your job and your circumstances. But once you start getting to the point where you are mastering your career, when you are killing it, but there's still something missing. And for some reason, you are drawn to this. You're drawn to have a podcast. You're drawn to making videos. I have to tell you that you should go for it, that you should not wait until things are perfect, that the struggle that you will go through and the creative process, the feedback that you get from people, that will ignite, spark that flame on you again. And it will be really, really fulfilling, and it will be something that you will enjoy. Another thing is that we started making videos about audio production. We started making videos about podcasting. So we had a niche, we had a topic, and we just kind of stayed with that topic. If you are there thinking, I have no idea what I want to talk about, I don't want to talk about what I do for work because I want this to be something that I do for fun, or it can be the opposite. It can be that you want to share your expertise, your professional expertise with a community of people. So either way, you don't need to think about having a niche. This is something that is limiting a lot of people from starting. And to be honest, like with us, we just found that niche just because we follow our curiosity and the expertise that Stephen already had. But if you don't have one, if you don't have any idea what that is, just start creating. Just start creating things that you enjoy creating. Because when you enjoy what you create and you make it thinking about an audience and you think about how much they're going to enjoy it, then things will flow much more than if you are restricting yourself to just having a niche and having everything ready and having everything planned out. The second part of my journey as a content creator, I'm going to call it the now what? Too much content, not enough money. When we started our company, Pad Sound School, we launched our YouTube channel. We had also a podcast, the Pad Sound School podcast, and we had our website, and we thought that we wanted to launch a blog on our website. So we have three things going on all at once, a lot of content going out, and also we wanted to be on social media. But, with all that kind of content, we were only two people. And back then, at the beginning, Steven was editing the videos and they were animated videos. And when they were not animated, they would take forever because we didn't have the experience that we had right now on making videos. So we didn't have a lot of time to think about the business side of things. Like, we didn't have a content marketing strategy. What's the main goal of this content, or what am I doing? And that is something that you're going to go through either when you start, because you are starting to think in terms of how am I going to make this profitable? Or after, a few weeks, a few months of you making content because you just wanted a creative endeavor and you started making content and posting content and see how the people will react to you and to your message. But now you're thinking, how am I going to keep affording this? We need to somehow figure out how to make money with this. And our problem was that we were making way too much content, but that content wasn't generating anything for us. Our channel was very small, so we were not getting any money from YouTube. We had no idea about a lead magnet. We were learning about having a lead magnet. We were learning about having our email list. So we started to research ways that we could make money online. And one of those was to just pitch our services to people online. And that's how we got our first client and we helped her launch her podcast. We also learned about online courses and we created our first online course with Amy Porterfield. We still have access to the Digital Course Academy. I recommend that course if you want to launch a course online. It's very good. I mean, Amy is the queen of online courses. So that's my shout out to DCA. But you will have those questions. How am I going to make money with my content? Where am I leading people to? By the end of them enjoying my video, by the end of them enjoying my podcast episode, where am I leading them? How am I making them part of my community? Because if they are there every week, every time you release a piece of content, and there's not a community for them, then it's a missed opportunity to connect with people. And it's also a missed opportunity for you to get to the point where you can sustain your content creation journey. We also incorporated other ways of making money as we grew our channel. We started making content for sponsors. We started making content for other channels. We also started getting money from YouTube, from Google Ads. And we started making money with affiliate links. So all of that just started showing up, and it was nice to get money for the first time with our content. The third stage in my content creation journey, or the third stage in your content creation journey, I'm going to call it, am I famous yet? Gaining momentum, learning the platform. When you are new to making content, you just want to do it. You just want to buy the equipment, you just want to record the thing, and you just want to post it, and you don't want to hear anything else. It's just this desire of making things happen and making them happen like right there, right now. Because, like if you think about what's coming, if you think what really goes into it, then you may get discouraged. And this is a great place to be. However, at some point, you're going to have to learn how the platform that you are using to post your content work and how you can learn it and how you can learn to leverage what the platform offers to bring more eyes and ears to your content, because that's how you grow. That's how people can find you. That's how you become YouTube famous, TikTok famous, or whatever famous, podcast famous, is by learning the game. So this is exactly what we did. We were getting sick and tired of posting videos on YouTube with getting the 10 views, the 20 views, like what's going on? Like this is good stuff. And it was starting to affect us emotionally and to affect our dedication and our enthusiasm for creating. So we started learning about YouTube, the YouTube algorithm, how to make content that it wasn't just for us or that it wasn't something that we thought that people should learn. You know, kind of like with your kids, you have to learn this. It's more about making content around things that your audience is already interested in, it's already searching for. And that's the piece of content that gains a lot of momentum. So when we started doing our research and when we started thinking more about our audience and when we started learning about all of the things that we could do to our videos to optimize them, when we started learning also about the podcast platforms and some of the issues that the podcast platforms have with discoverability, then we put all of our eggs in one basket or in one platform, and that was YouTube. But let me tell you, like, there are some people who grow really, really fast on YouTube, and I don't know what it is. I have studied them and I have looked into their content, looked into their videos, and yes, they are using strategies that we have tried to use, but it may be their personalities, their charisma. It may be that they appeal to a certain population that is on YouTube, and anything that they post on YouTube, like, goes pretty much viral and they grow like weed. In our case, our growth was so freaking slow. It was slow, but at the same time, we could see the traction that we were getting. We could see that we were getting comments on our videos, that we were getting people to reach out to us to tell us that they have done wonderful things with what we were teaching on YouTube. So it was this thing that we were gaining momentum, but are we ever going to get famous? Are we going to be like TikTok famous? Are we going to like walk the red carpet, or are we going to fly private jets, or are we going to have Lamborghinis and Ferraris and all that that you see from certain YouTube creators? Like, are we ever going to get there? And yeah, you may get to this point where maybe you're not as ambitious as I am. I'm very ambitious and I am going to get to places. Okay. And let me tell you, if you are going to be here with me during this journey, that you're going to get to places with me too. Because I may not want the Lamborghini, but I want the Range Rover, please. Not the Sport, the other one. And the Louis Vuitton. Oh, I want a Louis Vuitton bag, a new one. And I want a Louis Vuitton wallet too. My wallet is so bad. Do I have it? You don't want to see it. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. And this is getting to be too long. I hope you forgive me. But okay. So you are going to be at that point where you see a little bit of momentum, but then you're like, man, this is a lot of work. Like, what's going on with me? Like, why other people like grow so fast? And here I am. And all of us are on different journeys. The moment that we start comparing ourselves with other creators and why we're not where they are, then that can really take a toll as a content creator. Because when you sit down to create content, you need to be in a very good spirits. You need to be connected with your why. You need to be connected with your audience, with the person who's going to be watching this, with the person who's going to be listening to you. And if you show up and you're down, if you show up and you're doubting yourself, then that's not a good energy to spread. I mean, there are some creators that do spread that kind of energy and they are very famous. But I would say that if you're a content boss, you just want to show up feeling your best, because that's when you make the best content. And don't get me wrong, I have made content where I am very sad. I posted a video on our channel where I was crying. But even in those low moments, like if you show up fully as yourself and honoring the way that you feel, that will create connection. So let's move on to the next point. This part of my journey, I'm going to call, I wish I would have taken a business class, hurry and order some business books on Amazon. I consider myself a very smart person. I come all the way from a very, very poor part of town in Colombia. I didn't know any English. I am the first in my family to graduate high school, to get a college degree, to go and get higher education in a second language, to being an attorney in a foreign country here in America. So I am smart. But when it comes to business, I knew nothing. And same with my husband. He's a very, very smart person when it comes to his engineering stuff. But when it comes to creating a business, when it comes to build a business that is profitable, we both struggled. And we wished that we would have picked that business class or learn from books or have a business coach helping us going through some of the challenges that we have gone through with our business. The not knowing what we're doing, the wasting too much time on things that don't move the needle, the not knowing how to hire, the not knowing how to delegate, the not knowing how to let go, trying to do it all yourself. And also like going through our own personal journeys, discovering who we are as leaders. I never considered myself a leader, but when you are doing this, when you're making content, when you're showing up on a platform and all of a sudden you start gaining momentum, then you become a leader in your industry. And we just didn't know how to handle that part. We were very good at creating content, terrible, terrible at running a business. It's been a journey of us learning. It's been a journey of us taking ourselves seriously and calling our little business a legit business, and dealing with the different things that you have to face when you don't have any idea what you're doing. But there will come a point where your journey as a content creator will become a business. And let me tell you why. Like, even if you do this as a hobby, then the opportunity may come to you that people would want you to make content for them. You may learn that your audience is in need of your help, and then you can help them with your expertise, and you want to maybe put an online course, a coaching program together to help them, or designing a product or whatever it is. You will need to know about business, how to build the business, how to run a business, how to build the back end of the business, how to delegate, how to let go, and how to find talent, how to create teams, and all of these things that come with building companies. Which, by the way, I've been reading a book about Netflix, the creator of Netflix, Mark Randolph. It's called That Will Never Work. And it's a great book. If you read this book, then you learn about the story of Netflix, which is very interesting, but also what goes behind the scenes of building a company like that and how it started. It didn't start big. It started very, very small. So it's a very inspiring story. I recommend that to you. So let's move on to the next stage. And this last stage in my content creator journey, I'm going to call, are we ever going to fly in a private jet and be on the red carpet? And I already touched on this a little bit. Like, it stings when you see a lot of people online just having this very glamorous life after they build their influence on social media or on any other platform. And it happened for them, it seems like, in months. And you've been at this for years. Like, what's going on? Is this ever going to work for me? And that's the stage that I'm in right now. It can be like really, really rough when you compare yourself with other creators, and it can like really affect you, not only when you're creating your content, but it will affect you as far as, your business. You start questioning your ability to run a business, your ability to learn. That's kind of where we are right now. We are in this time of expansion, of letting go, of allowing people to help us more, but very cautiously, because we don't know if it's going to work. Like, it's really, really weird, or at least that's what I'm going through. Steven, on the other side, like, he got to be the appointed CEO. So he's now the CEO of the company. It used to be me running the show, but now he is the leader. And I left that to him because he seems to be able to see into the future and to plan for the future more than I do. I'm a very in the moment type of person. This isn't working. Our finances are hurting. Something needs to happen. Please send help. Send help. But I have total faith in where we're going to be taking our online business. I have total faith in the impact that we are going to have on people's lives. And more than ever, I know my why, and I know what is my mission here by showing up here in the podcast or on our YouTube channel, or if you have had the opportunity to work with me. Right now, I'm in the middle of launching my course, Smart and Simple Video Podcasting. The whole reason why I do what I do is so I can teach people the skills and share with them my journey and teach them strategies so they can also start making their own content wherever they are at. We specialize in video podcasting, so I just want to teach people how they can make it happen for themselves, so they can build a platform for them, so they can build something online that in the future will bring amazing opportunities. Like, I was just featured on the BBC radio channel. Like, how is that even possible? They found my video about QR codes and then decided to use a piece of that video on BBC. So how cool is that? I was also interviewed by Fox News back in 2021. I was a speaker at Podcast Movement back in August. I've had the opportunity to help a big company in Troy, Michigan, a marketing company, to build a content studio. And I have helped so many of you to launch your podcast, to get on video. I am extremely grateful for what we do. I'm extremely grateful for our company. And I think this is just a great way to end the episode, to tell you that it all starts with you posting one video. It all starts with you posting one podcast episode. And from there, you ride that wave and it will take you to amazing places and incredible opportunities. And I didn't even touch on the personal journey, just because we decided to have faith in us and we decided to build something online. So if this is you, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If somebody else is thinking about creating content, becoming a content creator, make sure that you share this episode with them. This is video number 1 of a series of episodes about being a content creator. So I hope you come back to see me or to listen to me. In the meantime, please, please, please subscribe to the channel and follow the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode. Also, I will leave all of the links of things that I mentioned in this episode, including my program, Smart and Simple Video Podcasting, so you can go check it out. And hopefully you end up learning how to launch your video podcast and all of this technical stuff with me. See you, Jefe.